Florida's housing boom has flipped. In these 10 markets, listings are piling up, sellers are cutting, and some apparent bargains hide enormous ownership costs. Listings are lingering, sellers are cutting prices, and insurance, flood exposure, and HOA costs can turn an apparent bargain into a money trap. Florida isn't collapsing, and homes are still selling. This countdown tracks 10 markets where buyer resistance is becoming difficult to ignore. At number 1, almost every warning sign appears at once. Number 10. Jacksonville. Jacksonville was supposed to be Florida's affordable big city alternative. More space, lower prices, and a major economy without South Florida's price tag. That advantage hasn't vanished, but it has narrowed. In 2026, Jacksonville's median sale price has been hovering at approximately $305,000, remaining relatively flat compared with a year earlier. So this isn't a dramatic crash. The warning is that buyers now have more time, more choice, and far less reason to accept a weak deal. Older resale homes must compete with newer communities offering modern building standards, lower immediate maintenance costs, and builder incentives. Properties near rivers, creeks, or the Atlantic coast also require much closer scrutiny of flood zones and insurance costs. The cheapest listing can quickly stop being the cheapest option once those expenses appear. Jacksonville still has real strengths: healthcare, logistics, a major port, and a substantial military presence. But being cheaper than Miami is no longer enough. The question is whether the total monthly payment still feels affordable after every additional cost has been added. And this is where the countdown changes. The next markets aren't merely slowing. They were built around demand that may have arrived too quickly and disappeared just as fast. Number 9. Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie became one of Florida's great migration stories. Planned communities, newer homes, and access to the Treasure Coast pulled in families and retirees who had been priced out farther south. Now, the same growth is working against sellers. Builders continued adding supply as demand cooled. That gives buyers a choice between an existing home with an ordinary mortgage rate and a brand new property offering closing cost assistance, warranties, or a mortgage rate buydown. For many resale sellers, that is an almost impossible offer to match. The market is also more uneven than the title might suggest. Prices across parts of St. Lucie County have remained relatively stable, while individual Port St. Lucie neighborhoods have produced very different results. The warning isn't a universal collapse. It is slower sales, growing inventory, and a widening gap between the homes buyers want and the homes sellers need to move. Port St. Lucie can still make sense for someone planning to stay long-term. But anyone expecting another instant property boom may be buying into yesterday's story. Because the next city has something Port St. Lucie doesn't: a massive tourism economy, and thousands of investors discovering that tourism doesn't guarantee housing profits. Number 8. Orlando. Orlando looks almost recession-proof from the outside. Theme parks, conventions, healthcare, defense industries, and a growing population should create constant housing demand. But constant demand doesn't mean unlimited affordability. In 2026, Orlando's median sale price has been sitting at approximately $10,000, slightly lower than a year earlier. Inventory across the wider metropolitan area has risen sharply, while price reductions have become far more common. The pressure is especially visible in condos, townhomes, and investor-heavy neighborhoods near the tourist corridors. Owners who bought properties expecting permanently elevated short-term rental income are now facing more competition, normalized occupancy, and increasingly selective guests. Some are choosing to sell. That adds even more homes to a market where buyers are already in no rush. Local wages in Orlando's enormous hospitality and service sectors have also failed to rise as quickly as the combined cost of mortgages, property taxes, and insurance. Orlando still has stronger long-term fundamentals than many cities on this list. But buyers are no longer paying any price simply to get into Central Florida. For anyone planning to compare several of these markets in person, flight options can be checked through the Kiwi link below. And just down Interstate 4 is a market that boomed because it was cheaper than Orlando and Tampa. The problem is that it built for a wave of buyers who may not be coming back. Number 7. Lakeland. Lakeland sold a simple promise. Live between Tampa and Orlando. Get more house for the money and keep access to both employment markets. During the remote work boom, that formula was irresistible. Subdivisions expanded, prices jumped. Buyers treated Polk County like Florida's next obvious growth corridor. Then, the momentum broke. In 2026, Lakeland's median sale price has been close to $300,000, down approximately 3% compared with a year earlier. That isn't a disaster. But it matters in a market where recent buyers were conditioned to expect easy appreciation. The deeper issue is demand. Lakeland added housing while remaining dependent on commuters, remote workers, and people relocating from more expensive parts of Florida. When those groups hesitate, newly built subdivisions and existing homes begin fighting for the same smaller pool of buyers. Sellers then face an uncomfortable choice. Wait longer, offer concessions, or cut the price until someone finally pays attention. Lakeland remains one of the more affordable entries on this list. For someone staying long-term, that could eventually create value. But affordability without strong resale demand can become a trap for anyone who may need to move again quickly. And number 6 reveals a different kind of risk, one that can hide inside a condo priced far below its pandemic peak. Number 6. Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach isn't one housing market. It is several markets stacked together. Inland starter homes, newer subdivisions, beachside houses, and aging condominium towers facing the Atlantic Ocean. That distinction matters. Recent housing data from Daytona Beach has been mixed. Some parts of the wider area have maintained their value, while the price per square foot inside the city has weakened. The biggest problems are concentrated in properties carrying the hardest to predict future expenses. Older coastal condominiums now face far more scrutiny. Qualifying aging buildings must undergo structural milestone inspections, while associations must prepare for the cost of repairing and maintaining major structural components. That means a low listing price can be overshadowed by higher monthly fees, major repair obligations, or a special assessment arriving after the sale. It doesn't make every older condominium a bad purchase. It makes the association's finances, inspection reports, and reserve planning as important as the ocean view. Would a $50,000 discount still feel like a bargain if the building later demanded a six-figure contribution from every owner? For anyone visiting the beachside market before making that decision, Florida hotel options can be checked through the Expedia link below. The top half begins with a city that still has a strong economy, major inward migration, and enormous appeal, yet buyers have gained leverage surprisingly quickly. Number 5. Tampa. Tampa was one of the biggest winners of the pandemic housing boom. Remote workers, corporate relocations, and investors pushed prices far beyond what many local incomes could comfortably support. Now, the market is recalibrating. In 2026, Tampa's median sale price has been approximately $443,000, slightly lower than a year earlier. Supply has risen. Sellers are negotiating. Homes that would once have attracted several offers can now sit while buyers compare insurance quotes, flood exposure, and newer alternatives farther from the bay. There is an important distinction here. Florida's insurance market has shown some signs of statewide stabilization. New insurance companies have entered the market, some rate reductions have been approved, and certain Citizens policyholders have received lower renewal premiums. But statewide improvement doesn't erase the property-specific problem. An older roof, previous insurance claims, waterfront exposure, or a high-risk flood location can still produce a quote that destroys an otherwise workable budget. Tampa itself isn't failing. Its employment base, healthcare sector, airport, and lifestyle remain powerful. The problem is that a strong city can still have an overpriced and uneven housing market. And number 4 is where uneven becomes extreme. Rebuilt homes, empty lots, and damaged properties can sit on the same street with completely different financial realities. Number 4. Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach is still rebuilding from Hurricane Ian, and that makes its housing market unlike almost anywhere else in Florida. One property may be an empty lot. The next may be a damaged structure. and the next may be a newly elevated home built to modern codes and priced at a significant premium. A single median number can't fully explain that market, but the direction remains revealing. In 2026, the median sale price in Fort Myers Beach has been approximately $560,000, down by around 10% compared with a year earlier. The biggest barrier isn't simply whether buyers love the island. Many still do. It is whether the property can be insured, financed, repaired, and maintained at a cost that makes sense. Newer elevated homes may attract buyers who want stronger construction and fewer immediate repairs. Older or damaged properties can require cash, specialist insurance, extensive rebuilding, and a tolerance for uncertainty that eliminates most ordinary buyers. Fort Myers Beach may eventually emerge stronger and more resilient. But right now, its property market is a test of how much financial risk someone is willing to absorb for a beachfront lifestyle. For deeper property, residency, and relocation research, Horizon Insider is linked below. The final 3 markets expose 3 different warning signs: investors stepping back, wealthy buyers becoming selective, and one city where oversupply meets some of America's highest flood exposure. Number 3. Northport. Northport was sold as the affordable answer to Sarasota. Newer homes, more land, and lower prices attracted families, retirees, and institutional investors at exactly the same time. That concentration of demand pushed the market up quickly. Now it creates vulnerability on the way down. Here is the twist. Northport has not yet registered a dramatic citywide collapse. In 2026, its median sale price has remained close to $349,000 and relatively flat compared with a year earlier. But housing forecasts have been far more pessimistic, with some analysts predicting Northport could experience one of the sharpest Florida price declines during 2026. That gap between current prices and future expectations is exactly why buyers wait. When inventory is plentiful and sellers are reducing prices, there is little urgency to buy today if the same home could be cheaper tomorrow. Northport still offers relatively modern housing and easier access to Gulf Coast destinations than many inland alternatives. But its market depends heavily on incoming buyers. Those buyers are increasingly comparing Florida with states offering lower insurance costs, cheaper homes, and more predictable monthly expenses. Would you buy while prices are holding, or wait to see whether the negative forecasts become reality? For international viewers researching Florida in person, the Saley eSIM link is below. Number 2 proves that even enormous wealth can't make buyers ignore bad value forever. Number 2. Naples. Naples has beaches, golf courses, restaurants, and one of the wealthiest buyer pools in America. That should make it resistant to an ordinary slowdown. Yet in 2026, the city's median sale price has been approximately $1.3 million, down by around 10% compared with a year earlier. That headline needs context. Naples is highly segmented. An ultra-luxury waterfront property purchased with cash behaves very differently from an older condominium or a financed home in the middle of the market. The weakest point is where high purchase prices collide with insurance premiums, association fees, and potential building obligations. Florida's inspection and reserve requirements have forced buyers to pay much closer attention to the financial health of older condominium associations. A beautiful unit can become extremely difficult to value if its building has underfunded reserves, overdue maintenance, or major structural work approaching. Cash buyers still create a floor beneath Naples' best neighborhoods. Naples isn't becoming cheap, and demand hasn't vanished. But wealthy buyers are often the most willing to walk away from a deal that looks structurally or financially messy. And number 1 combines Naples' insurance question with Northport's supply problem, then adds relentless competition from brand new homes. Number 1. Cape Coral. Cape Coral may be the clearest example of Florida's housing boom reversing into buyer hesitation. During the pandemic, canal homes, warm weather, and rapid construction attracted investors and relocating families. Prices rose quickly because buyers believed the demand would keep coming. In 2026, they are looking at a very different market. Cape Coral's median sale price has been approximately $360,000, down slightly compared with a year earlier. That decline isn't yet catastrophic. The bigger warning is what analysts expect next, with some housing forecasts predicting Cape Coral could experience one of the steepest price declines in the United States during 2026. Then comes the supply problem. Resale owners are competing against builders that can offer homes built to newer hurricane standards, warranties, closing cost assistance, and mortgage rate incentives. A private seller can reduce the asking price, but they cannot manufacture a cheaper mortgage. And then comes flood exposure. The wider Cape Coral and Fort Myers region has one of the highest concentrations of housing value exposed to severe flood risk in the country. That doesn't mean every home will flood. It means location, elevation, construction date, and insurance history can radically alter the true cost of two houses that appear almost identical online. This is why Cape Coral sits at number 1. Not because nobody wants canals, boats, or sunshine, but because buyers now have enough choice to reject the wrong house, the wrong insurance quote, and the wrong price. There may be genuine opportunities emerging for cash buyers with long-time horizons. But for a financed buyer, the listing price is only the first number that matters. Across all 10 markets, that is the real story. Florida homes didn't suddenly become undesirable. The hidden bill became impossible to ignore. Which Florida market would you still buy in? And which one would you avoid completely?